Hello everyone, welcome to Marketing 454 Advertising and Promotion. This is chapter 6. In this chapter, let's talk about the source, message, and channel factors. Source, message, and channel factors in advertising. Okay? These are the learning objectives. Okay? In marketing, we like to talk about a lot of things like mix or matrix. Here we talk about the promotional planning through the persuasion matrix. Persuasion matrix, okay? Which persuasion matrix, it helps marketers to see how each controllable elements interacts with the consumer's response process. Okay, controllable elements that the marketers can manipulate or use or control, and also the consumer's response process. Okay? There are two sets of variables involved. Independent variables and dependent variables. Now, what are the independent variables? Independent variables are the controllable components of the communication process. Controllable components of the communication process that the marketers or advertisers can control, right? I wouldn't say manipulate, can control and manage. Okay. There are also dependent variables that steps receivers go through in being persuaded. The steps the receiver goes through in being persuaded. Okay, that's the dependent variables. Okay, here's the persuasion matrix. Right? On top, you see the independent variables, the communication components that the advertiser can control, like a source, right? The source, and then the message, you can control the source. You can use different spokespersons or your own executives, right? And from the advertiser, the message itself, the advertising message, you can develop, right, and decide on the channels you use. The channels, mass media, personal and non-personal media you want to use. And the receiver information. Receiver is not that you can control, you can target, right? You use it. And the destination. There are dependent variables, the steps in being persuaded by the consumer, right? The message, presentation, and exposure. How are they exposed to the message, to the presentation of the message, right? And their attention and awareness process, where they get to pay attention to that, get their attention and get them to aware of your message, right? The knowledge and comprehension, where they acquire the knowledge, the cognition, and then being able to understand it, understand the message. Okay? Yielding and liking. Will they yield to the message, be convinced of the message, or develop liking or disliking of the message, right? And then the retention of the message. Will the message stick in their mind, stay in the memory, stay in the memory after the 30 seconds of ads, for example, right? And then what's their behavior intention? Do they have the purchase intention or not, right? Behavior intention. So there are this matrix, there's so many combinations, right? Different independent variables, the communication components versus the dependent variables, the steps being persuaded, and there's so many of them, all of them, right? I want you to think about that from every cell here, like for example, the message, right, and the knowledge, right? What can you do to do towards the message to make it more understandable, easily absorbed by the consumers, right? That's what this cell is about. If you can see I hope you can see my cursor moving here. Right? But in particular, in this lecture, we can focus on 4 of them. 1 is receiver knowledge comprehension. 2 is channel message presentation and exposure. 3, the message and yielding and liking. And 4, source and attention awareness. Okay? We just take these 4 as examples. I encourage you to study all the combinations, right, of the independent variable and dependent variable to see what you can think of or as the best way for advertiser to design and to execute. Okay, let's look at the first 4, these 4 examples here. Okay, so for example, the decisions evaluated with this persuasion matrix. The first one is the receiver comprehension. Receiver comprehension. Now, what is the question? What is the thing that you need to think about, right? You want to ask yourself, can the receiver comprehend ad? Can the receiver comprehend advertising itself? The ad itself, sometimes, if you don't design or plan well, the receiver or the consumers might not be able to understand what you're saying in the ad. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So you need to design well to make sure they can understand. Right? Channel and presentation. Which media channel should be used to present the advertising message, right? So that's a question, another decision advertisers need to make. Yeah? Which media vehicle, like which TV networks, which internet websites or social media sites, which broadcast stations, which newspapers or magazines should you use to present the advertising message to your intended target market. Okay, that's another decision you need to make, right? As to message and yielding, what type of message will create favorable attitudes or feelings? What type of message should you design to create a favorable attitudes or feelings or yielding in the consumer? Okay, that is the decision you have to make. The example 4 is the source and attention. Who will be the most effective spokesperson in getting consumers' attention on this product, right? Who will be the most effective person, right? That's the source and attention, getting their attention. So that's 4 examples in this persuasion matrix. Okay? Sources. Let's look at the source factors. Sources. What are the sources? Sources. The person involved in communicating a marketing message in the ad. The person spokesperson in the ad, right? You could use a direct source that delivers message or endorses product services. Someone just out there standing there saying things about the message, deliver the message, or you can have a celebrity endorser to say something about the product or services. That's a direct source. Indirect source. You can draw attention to and enhances appearance of ad. Indirect source can draw attention to and enhance the appearance of an ad. Okay, so you can use 2 kinds of sources. Okay, source credibility. Since the source is telling the story, is the source credible? Do people believe in that? You have a celebrity endorsement. Do people actually believe in what the celebrity has to say? Right? So to enhance credibility, right? To have credibility, right? First, they need to have the source needs to have the expertise, and then the trustworthiness. Expertise is that the recipient or the audience or target consumers see source, they will see the source as having relevant knowledge, skill, or experience. If they don't have relevant knowledge, skill, experience about this product, they probably don't feel, they will not feel, the recipient will say, hey, this person has no expertise in this. Why should I trust them, him or her? Okay. Second is trustworthiness. Is a person, spokesperson, trustworthy? The recipient trusts source to give unbiased, objective information. Can they be trusted to give that unbiased, objective information? Right? Also, there's source factors. There's internalization issue. What's internalization? Adopting the opinion of a credible communicator and believing information from that source is accurate. Then become internalized, right? Then the information will become internalized into receiver's belief system. They can be part of their system. They believe that. So you want to help with the internalization, adopting the opinion of this, what the communicator, the source, credible communicator delivered to the consumer. Okay? So credibility is one issue, and externalization is another. To be credible, the source needs to have expertise and trustworthiness. Okay? So the source attribute and the receiver processing modes, right? Basically, if the source is credible, right? It helps with the internalization, okay, with the consumer internalization. If the source is attractive, very attractive, right? It helps with the identification process. The consumers or the audience will identify with the celebrity, with the source, identification process. If the source is believed to have power to influence, power to guide, right, to influence, then they're gonna help with the compliance of the audience to the source message, because it has a perceived power. Okay. All right. Source credibility. Right? Again, as we said, the source credibility can be enhanced by applying expertise or by applying trustworthiness, or sometimes we can use corporate leaders as spokesperson, executive, top level executive. Right? If, like, for example, Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk is there to tell us something about his Tesla trucks or Tesla electric vehicles. People probably tend to believe him, right? Because we know he knows something about that, right? So in this ad here, Dove, right? In this ad, Dove promotes the fact that it is recommended by experts in skin care. Dermatologists recommended Dove, right? It says here, the proof is in the science. Dermatologists recommend Dove 7 times more often than Olay. Well, they actually mentioned the competitor's name. Okay, here is Dr. India Masa Higgins from Beverly Hills, Michigan. He said, I recommend Dove body wash to all of my patients, literally. That's endorsement. Okay. The expertise, expert endorsement. Okay. Are you guys familiar with Dyson? Dyson product, Dyson vacuum cleaner, right? His executive here, CEO, is James Dyson, inventor of the cyclonic vacuum technology. Okay, that's pictured here in his Cyclone vacuum cleaner, and this one I believe is a fan used for Dyson, right? It's a fan. It's a bladeless fan, Yeah, no blades. You can see them, but no blades, but they actually blows airs as a fan. Dyson is considered one of the most effective CEO spokespersons, and they use that, okay, for Dyson. Source credibility. There are limitations of source credibility, or limitations of credible sources, right? High and low credibility sources are equally effective when arguing for a position opposing their own best interest. What do you mean by that? What do I mean by that? High and low credibility sources are equally effective when arguing for a position opposing their own interest. It's like when I tell you something, like for example, if I'm to brag about myself, right? You may not believe it, okay? You may not believe it because, you know, I'm bragging, then I'm saying something to my best interest. It's in my best interest. If I say something about something bad or about my weakness or shortcomings, for example, you probably will believe me. And no matter I'm a believer, it's a high or low credible source, you know, if they're saying something, if I'm saying something about my weakness, I admit my weakness or my shortcomings, you're going to believe me. And you're going to believe me. That's what they're saying here. Even the source is low in credibility, but when the person is talking about something opposing their best interest, yeah, it's actually saying something exposing their weakness, people tend to believe it. That's what this is about, okay? Credible sources. There's also the sleeper effect. Sleeper effect. What is it? What is it? Sleeper effect? It is that the persuasiveness of a message increases with passage of time, as if you're when you're sleeping, okay? As you sleep, or as time passes, the persuasiveness actually will be enhanced, right? So sleeper effect, persuasiveness of a message increases with the passage of time. Okay? Also, the source attractiveness, the attractiveness of the source. Yeah. Attractiveness is a characteristic that encompasses similarity, familiarity, and likability. Right? People are attracted to that if they feel that similar, is familiar, and likable. Okay. Also, source identification. Receiver is motivated to seek some type of a relationship with the source. If they can't find they're related, you know, they may be of the same gender, same race, same origin, or same whatever, you know, they may find more themselves to be identified with the source, right? Adopts similar beliefs, attitudes, and preferences or behavior. If source changes position, receiver might also change position. Okay? That's identification. Source attractiveness and source identification. Okay? In source characteristic, you know, applying similarity. Right? Communicator and receiver with similar needs, goals, interests, and lifestyles. Right? And also when consumers feel empathy for a person in commercial. If they feel empathy for the person in commercial, that's a similarity. You can apply source similarity. You can use this everyday people that the customers can easily identify with. Yeah. Sometimes we use an everyday person instead of celebrity, and everyone can feel like he or she just like us, ordinary consumer, right? They can identify with that. So that's a similarity. You can apply some similarity there. Okay? Applying likability. Sometimes using celebrities can, you know, add likability. Which celebrities? Movie stars, athletes, musicians, public figures can all be the celebrities, right? There's a stopping power of the of that. Okay, that's this draw attention in cluttered media environment. That has a stopping power, right? Using that to draw attention in a cluttered media environment, and this celebrity or this spokesperson can have this stopping power, right? And also it can enhance customers' view of product, service, image, or performance. It can enhance customers' view of your product, right? Because of the celebrity, right? Most golf equipment manufacturers have endorsement deals with professional golfers, such as shown in this ad for Ch06 Z-Star Series golf balls, featuring a pro golfer called Hideki Matsuyama. I believe this is a Japanese golfer. Okay, he's endorsing this Ch06 Z-Star series of golf balls. Okay. There are limitations of using celebrities. You can use the celebrities, but there are limitations of using celebrities as your source, as spokesperson. Okay, and sometimes the celebrity may be too famous, too well known, and it may overshadow the product, and you don't want that to happen. Right? You want to highlight your product. Your purpose to highlight the product by the celebrity, not let the celebrity overshadow your product, and people then, recognize or remembers the celebrity, but forget about your product. That's no good, right? Or the overexposure of the celebrity. If this celebrity is endorsing everything, so many things, and then is overexposed, and then having him or her to endorse your product may not be a good idea. Okay. Target audience receptivity. Will your target audience, right, be receptive of this celebrity? For example, we receive advertising messages from textbook publishers, right? I have never seen any textbook publisher using movie star celebrities to endorse a product, in order to reach their target audience, which is us, your professors, your instructors. Why is it? Because this target audience, professors, your faculty, professors, instructors, will not be receptive of a celebrity endorsing a certain textbook. Okay, that's what I mean here, right? Also, there could be a risk to the advertiser. If the celebrity maybe, for example, runs into a scandal, that could hurt your image or your product, company image, right? And there's also the return on investment issue. You spend a lot of money putting a celebrity on your ad. They'll be costing you so much money, and you're not making enough to make it back. So your return on investment could be low. That is something need to be considered. Okay. Under Armour recently collaborated with Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson, to create a new product line called Outlaw Manna, which features a full line of clothing and shoes for both men and women. Okay, Dwayne Johnson. Okay, build the belief. Is that here? Under Armour. Okay. Also, so for source attractiveness, understanding the meaning of you need to understand the meaning of celebrity endorsers. Okay, the perspective on celebrity endorsement. There is a perspective on celebrity endorsement developed by Grant McCracken. There's an ad agency, and they're saying that Grant McCracken suggests that the celebrities' effectiveness as endorsers depends on culturally acquired meanings they bring to the endorsement. There has to be culturally acquired meanings they bring to the endorsement. Then the celebrity effectiveness is going to be there. Okay, the endorsers depend on that culturally acquired meanings. Right, a celebrity brings their meaning and image into ad and transfers them to the product. Yeah, the celebrities bring their meaning and image to the advertisement, and then that is transferred to the product. Okay, the meanings a celebrity gives to the product are transferred to the consumer. Okay, then in the advertising industry refers to the cultural meaning that the celebrity spokesperson brings as borrowed equity. It's called a borrowed equity because they borrow this equity that the celebrity can bring to the brand. Okay. So basically, this is the meaning movement and the endorsement process. Why or how celebrity endorsement works, right? Basically, in our culture, in this culture, we have this objects or persons or contexts, the roles of a celebrity, right? The celebrity is associated with certain objects, is with a certain personality persons, right? And is culturally related to certain context and certain roles in society. That's our culture, right? In this culture, okay. So the arrow is a path of meaning movement, and this is the stage of the meaning movement, the stage one. Okay, we have to have a culture, a celebrity, bearing meanings of certain objects, certain persons, certain contexts, and that culture is actually transferred or moved to this endorsement. When the celebrity endorses a certain product, okay, the culture's meaning comes to the endorsement itself, right? And then the meaning of the product, is transferred. The meaning is moved toward the consumers, and so from culture to endorsement to consumption, right? So the meaning is moved because of the culture we have from celebrity to the product, and from product to the consumer. That's what this framework is telling us. It's explaining this celebrity endorsement. Okay? Celebrity factors, right? Celebrity factors. How do you choose a celebrity endorser? How do you choose a celebrity? Which celebrity do you use? There's so many movie stars, sports stars, Olympians, political figures, famous persons, right? Which one do you use, right? In choosing your celebrity, there are some factors you need to consider. It should match with the audience and the product. The audience matches with the celebrity, should match with the audience and your product and your brand, right? It should have good overall image. You don't want a scandal-ridden person to be your spokesperson, right? Cost is an issue. Some may demand a huge amount of money that you cannot afford, okay? And trustworthiness, as we said, trustworthiness is a key issue here. If consumers cannot trust him or her, it's no use to have a celebrity. Risk of controversy. What if this guy is involved in a scandal where something bad happens to him or her? Okay, you don't want your reputation be ruined by that, right? In your contract, you may have a clause saying that if the celebrity is involved in a scandal, we have the right to withdraw from this agreement. Okay. Also, the celebrity should have familiarity and likability. People are familiar with him or her and like him or her. Okay. You need to choose between celebrity and social media influencer. You can consider celebrity or maybe a social media influencer who is not a celebrity. Okay. Companies actually use Q scores and the power score, Q scores, another method to gauge, to calculate, to see which one to use, what person, which celebrity to use. Okay. Applying likability, decorative models. Likability decorative models, right? I can draw attention to ads with the physically attractive people. Okay? Physically attractive people can draw attention to the ads. Okay? Passive decorative models rather than active communicators, right? It could be passive or decorative models rather than active communicators. Some products, for example, cosmetics, right, benefits a lot since the physical appearance is relevant. You have a very beautiful person there, and for your cosmetics product, yeah, is probably very beneficial, very useful in that, right? But it may not draw attention to the product or message itself, though. Okay, it could be there people are drawn to the person, a physically attractive person. Okay, highly attractive models can have negative impact. Be careful. Highly attractive models can have negative impact. Okay. Some companies undermine traditional approach to beauty care. Yeah, they're saying that undermine the traditional approach, saying that you're beautiful just the way you are. Okay? That seems to be the trend today, right? You're beautiful just the way you are, just the way you are. You're beautiful enough, right? Like this one, Dove's ad here. It says the only models we'll ever use are role models. Wow, role models. Yeah, we feature women who reflect the real beauty, diversity in society. Yeah, that's what Dove uses, right? Dove takes a social advocacy approach in promoting its beauty products. Since 2004, Dove has run the Campaign for Real Beauty, which is designed to appeal to everyday women and offer a broader, healthier, and more democratic view of beauty. Yeah. What do you think? Do you agree? And do you agree with their approach? All right, that's using models, beauties. Okay, source power. We talk about source power. When the source can administer rewards and punishment to a receiver, the source has power. Okay? If the source can administer rewards and punishment to a receiver, right? It depends on sources' perceived control, perceived concern, and perceived scrutiny. It has to have perceived control, perceived concern about the nature of what things they're advocating, and perceived scrutiny. They can force you to behave, so to comply. So compliance, to obtain favorable reaction or avoid punishment. Receiver accepts the source's persuasive influence and acquiesces to source's position. Okay? It's difficult to apply in advertising. It's more likely in personal communication. Okay, more likely in personal communication. Okay, source power. Message structure. The order of presentation is important. How you present your idea, your message. Right? Just like when you guys give a presentation somewhere, right? And what message, which component, which part do you present first? Which one second? Which one last? Okay. Strongest arguments are presented early or late in message, not in the middle. Remember that. Okay. You give a presentation, the strongest arguments are presented early and late. People tend to remember the earliest ones and the last one. First one, the last ones. They tend to forget the ones in the middle. Okay. So there is a primacy effect. Primacy effect, information presented first is the most effective. Information presented first is most effective. That's why you should give a summary of your presentation in the beginning, and then and also in the end. Okay, recency effect, that has something to do with the last one. Arguments presented last are most persuasive. Okay, last persuasive. Right? So where to place place depends on the target audience receptivity to the message, the length of the message, and the medium used to communicate the message. Right? So keep that in mind. Order of presentation. Yeah, that's important aspect of message structure. Okay. Order of presentation. Excuse me. This is the order of presentation. Excuse me. Have my tea. To add message recall as a function of order of presentation. The y-axis is the recall. Okay, how much they can recall. You can see from beginning to the middle to the end, the people's recalls are higher in the beginning and in the end. So lowest in the middle. Okay, message recall. Conclusion drawing. Yeah, conclusion drawing conclusions. That's another part of the message structure. Right? Messages should either explicitly draw a firm conclusion or allow receivers to draw their own conclusions. Okay, your message should explicitly draw a firm conclusion or allow your receivers to draw their own conclusions. Messages with explicit conclusions are more easily understood and effective in influencing attitudes. Okay? Also, this drawing conclusion depends on the target audience, the type of issue or topic, and nature of situation. But draw a firm conclusion or allow them to draw one. Okay? Also, message sidedness. One-sided message or two-sided message. Okay, you can use a one-sided message or two-sided message. Okay, in one-sided message, you mention only positive attitudes or benefits. It's effective when target audience already holds a favorable opinion about the topic or is less educated. Less educated, we don't mean the educational level is low, it's less educated about this product, okay? So if they don't know too much about this, or they already have a favorable opinion about the topic, right? You can use one-sided message, okay? Mention only positive attributes or benefits, okay? Or you can use two-sided message, right? Presents both good and bad points, pros and cons. This will be effective when the target audience holds an opposing opinion, or is highly educated. So they know a lot about this topic, right? Their opinion may be against you, right? If their opinion is against you, you want to present both and then offer your persuasion, okay? One-sided message or two-sided message. That's message sidedness. Okay? This is an example of a Volkswagen ad. Okay? Volkswagen used a two-sided advertising message that acknowledges the diesel scandal as part of an ad campaign for their electric vehicles. Okay? It says here, after the bad buzz marking, remember bad buzz? Here is a better one. Yeah, basically they acknowledge there's a bad buzz about them, right? They had a diesel scandal about Volkswagen, when they were trying to show that they can pass the Germany's or EU's diesel emission standard. They did something bad, they cheated on that. Okay, they know that that's bad, right? They acknowledge that after the bad buzz, Here's a better one. Better one meaning the EV, the electric vehicles. They don't consume diesel. They don't consume diesel. They don't emit. They have no emission. So that's a clever way of using two-sided advertising message, to help with the persuasion. Mm-hmm. Message structure, there is refutation, okay? Refutation appeal. You can refute, right? That's called a refutation appeal. The communicator presents both sides of the issue and then refutes opposing viewpoint. You can present both sides of the issue and then refute one that you oppose, right? This is the SeaWorld Cares, SeaWorld ad here. A refutational appeal was used by SeaWorld to defend itself against criticism by PETA and other animal activist groups, right? PETA is one of those animal activist groups, okay? Okay. I think PETA stands for something like people endangered or humane treatment of animals. Sorry, I forgot that. Let's forget about it. Yeah, it's just PETA. It's just animal activist group. Okay. Also, you can use verbal versus visual messages. Verbal versus visual messages in your message structure. Right? Pictures, good pictures, great pictures. Pictures commonly used to convey information or reinforce copy or message claims. Okay? Use good, appropriate pictures. This is the ad for Arrowhead Mountain spring water. Okay? They use a beautiful visual image of the mountains to communicate the key product attribute of purity. This time we got this from the mountains, pure and clean. Okay? Comparative advertising. In the message appeals, you can use comparative advertising. Basically, you directly or indirectly naming your competitors in an ad and comparing one or more attributes to show that you are better or superior. Okay, like this one, body armor. Body armor uses comparative advertising to challenge Gatorade in the sports drink market. We know Gatorade. Gatorade actually from Florida. Florida Gators. Gatorade is the dominant player in the sports drink. Right? For them, for body armor, it's also a sports drink. It's lesser known. They want to challenge that. They said, thanks Gatorade, we will take it from here. Okay? They said they are more natural, more electrolytes, and better sports drinks. That's what they say. Yeah, naming the competitors. Okay. Comparative advertising is common, right? It's so common, their attention-getting value has declined. Right? Their attention-getting, they may not be the attention-getting enough. You have to consider how comparative messages affect credibility. Remember, if you're arguing, when you may say something bad about the competitors, people may not believe you. Okay. But comparative advertising is often used to position new brands against market leaders, okay, new ones, new kids on the block, used to differentiate high-profile brands in a competitive marketplace, or show candidate differences in political advertising. I'm sure this is the election year. I see a lot of political advertising highlighting or comparing candidates, right? And fear appeals. In your message strategy, you can use fear appeals, fears, right? Basically, in your ad, you evoke fears. You evoke an emotional response to a threat and arouse individuals to take steps to remove that threat. You evoke a threat, that's right, and then give them a way to remove that threat, right? It can stress physical danger to the person, threaten disapproval or social rejection. If you don't do this, people may not like you, or your friends may not like you. Right? You have no friends. Right? Used to discourage unsafe behaviors. Smoking. You smoke, hey, this will happen to your lung, to your life. Right? This ad by Ad Council uses a fear appeal to discourage buzzed driving. Buzzed driving. So here the cop looks like it's measuring the guy's, the alcohol level, and it said below, just below $10,000. And so don't drink and drive. Okay? Fear appeals is you. Okay? How fear operates? Fear appeals operates, right? And the fear appeal, the operation of fear appeal is curvilinear. Okay, the message acceptance increases as the amount of fear used rises. Okay, the more fear you evoked, the more acceptance you can get. So the measured acceptance will increase as the amount of fear you used in the ad, but only to a point. After that point, there's an opposite effect. So there's a fear appeal operates in a curvilinear manner. It has both facilitating and inhibiting effects. Facilitating and inhibiting effects, both are at work. So there's a protection motivation model. Four cognitive appraisal processes mediate the individual's response to the threat. Okay? Fear appeals are more effective when the recipient is self-confident and prefers to cope with the danger, right? Or is a non-user, right? There could be monotonic and positive. Higher level of fear results in greater persuasion. Yeah, with monotonic and positive, higher level of fear will result in greater persuasion. Okay. This chart shows the relationship between fear levels and message acceptance. Okay? On the y-axis is acceptance of message recommendation, acceptance message. Right? This dashed blue line is the facilitating effects of fear. Right? The higher the level of fear, the more acceptance. That's the facilitating effects. Remember, there's also the inhibiting effects. Inhibiting effect, the lower, the bottom one, the brown line, right? The more the fear, the higher the level of the fear, the lower the acceptance of the match recommendation. People are just I guess, scared the gazebos out of that. They're scared so much, they just turn it off. They just feel, forget about it, to give up, right? So with both facilitating effects and inhibiting effect, there's inhibiting effects, that the resultant is a non-monotonic curve. It's like this one, the red one, right? So the level of fear goes up, the acceptance goes up. But the level of fear goes even further higher, then acceptance goes lower. So how much of fear do you want to use? Right here, where the peak, the red line, red curve peaks, right? That's where the level of fear, the appropriate level of fear you should use to gain the highest acceptance in the message recommendation. Okay. Humor appeals, right? I'm sure we all enjoy humors in advertisement. Actually, that humor is what I was drawn into liking, loving, advertising and marketing. I love the humors in our ads, in the ads in American commercials. I just love it. I always loved it. Yeah, still love it now. Okay, humor appeals, often best known and best remembered. You have good humor in the ad, but it's best known, well known, and best remembered. People remember that, right? Humor is used for many reasons. So you can use humor to attract and hold the consumer's attention. You can put consumers in a positive mood. They're happy in positive mode. Okay? So get attention, positive mood. You can distract consumer from counter-arguing against the message. Yeah, they may have a counter-argument against your message. Right? They say that, hey, this message may not be true. I'm not in support of that. But if it's humorous, they may get distracted. Okay, distracted. Right? So that's humor appeals. Right? And also they distract from brand and its attributes. You can distract from brand and its attribute. People focus on the humor, right? Sometimes it's difficult to produce and may be too subtle. Yeah, it's difficult to produce humor, right? And sometimes it's too subtle, then people may not recognize that. Okay. Also, you may experience wear out. You have a tendency to lose effectiveness when seen or heard repeatedly. It's seen so many times, and then it's kind of wear out, right? So it's countered by creating pull-outs, right? You can pull out, right? You may have to use different humors, or uses occasionally you pull it out. So not to get people bored or wear out on your humor appeal. Okay. Also, humor appeals, you must consider the type of product or service and audience characteristics. Okay. You can type of product or service and audience, when use it when only appropriate. Okay. And humor appeals is often more effective when involvement level is relatively low. Remember the involvement, right? When the involvement level is low, people tend to accept that, appreciate that more. Okay? This is the ad by Volkswagen, right? Volkswagen had this precision parking feature called Park Assist, precision parking. And they use this ad to show how humor can be used effectively in a print message, as the porcupine is precisely parked, between the two bags of goldfish to avoid popping the goldfish bags. Okay, if it's not parked well, I'm gonna damage the bag, and the goldfish will die. So that's a pretty humorous one, and seems done very well, okay, to highlight the precision parking technique. Also, let's talk about the channels, in the channel factors in communication. Remember the personal versus non-personal channels, right? Information received from personal channels is more persuasive than from mass media or non-personal channels. Okay? Personal channel is more persuasive. Okay? The effects of alternative mass media, okay? And there are differences in information processing, for mass media. Some mass media is self-paced versus externally paced. Right? What is a self-paced media for mass media? Self-paced is is in the situation where the readers process ads at their own rate and study them as long as they desire, right? Like a newspapers ad, magazine ad, direct mail, and the internet. They can just choose to just stare at the ad, try to understand the ad, comprehend the ad, enjoy the ad as long as they desire, they want. Right? That's self-paced. Right? And then there are the externally paced ad. The transmission rate is controlled by the medium, like a radio ad or TV ad. Okay, so there's the differences in information processing. Okay, and also the effects of context and environment affect ad. context and environment. Qualitative media effect. Influence medium has on message. The media vehicle you use can affect reaction to message. This one is Travel Plus Leisure magazine. Travel Plus Leisure magazine creates an excellent reception environment for travel-related ads. Okay, looking at this pictures, the environment, the best travel destinations. Okay, Iceland immersion. Okay. Clutter. Channel factor, channel clutter, right? Channel clutter is among the advertising in the medium, right? Medium. On TV, all the non-program materials that appears in broadcast environment. So major concerns. These are the clutter is a major concern among television advertisers. Right? It's difficult for commercials to attract and hold viewers' attention and to communicate effectively because of clutter. Okay? The overload theory used to explain why clutter reduces advertising effectiveness. When an individual is overloaded with too many ads at one time, the absorption of one ad will be at the expense of another. So that's the issue with clutter. Obviously, the internet can kind of like solve that problem somewhat. Okay? Advertising disengagement. Advertising disengagement is also associated with clutter. Yeah. Lack of excitement, interest, attention, or involvement intended to be aroused by an advertisement or advertising campaign. Okay? And this disengagement may have negative impact on brand relationships, commitment, brand loyalty, message recall, and effectiveness, and consumer attitude toward an ad. Okay, just people are not that much interested. Okay, and that seems to be the trend because of clutter, and people just not as excited about the advertising nowadays. Okay. Also, trend toward shorter commercials. There's a trend toward shorter commercials. Several major networks announced that they were also reducing the number of commercials during prime time. They're reducing that. Okay, to opt for shorter commercials. Okay? Even on YouTube, you probably watch a lot of YouTube videos, and they have a YouTube short videos. Okay? Less than like 30 seconds. Clutter in online advertising. The online environment audience is known as users. It's not exactly audience, but the users, right? Users have to pay attention to the computer. Users have to pay attention to the computer, right? It's kind of like both captive medium and the self-paced medium. They're kind of like a captive because they stay in front of a computer. And they're self-paced as they can control, the play, the duration of the medium, of the ad on the medium, right? But it can result in avoidance and disengagement. Avoidance and disengagement. They can avoid, they can skip, right? They can just stay away, disengaged, okay? In online advertising. Okay, I think that's all I have for this chapter. Okay, I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.